Hey everybody, it's the OGGM. Early on a Tuesday morning, July 2nd, 2022. It's about 63 degrees and cloudy here at Site B, and I'm joined once again by Steve the Kitten. Not his real name, but that's his operating stage name. Steve the Kitten says, subscribe to my vlog. It's what we want for our birthday. Subscribe to my vlog. Look how cute he is. How can you say not subscribe to my vlog? Subscribe to the vlog. Okay, so what is going on with Dragons of Stormwick Isle box set confusion? All right, so here's what I know. Target has it. Sort of. Now, at first you would think, why Target? Why would Target have it ahead of anybody else, right? I mean, if you're Joe starting gamer or, want to just pick it up, the first thing you probably think is either Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or if you live someplace that has a comic book shop, you might think, oh, maybe my comic book shop has it. Target's probably not the first place you go to think of when you think, they're going to have a Dungeons & Dragons product before anybody else. And everybody else is not getting it till October, which is weird. I saw nothing about that getting pushed back. I thought it was supposed to be available to everybody around August something, but yeah. So Target apparently had it July 31st / August 1st. So there are some people who have picked up the Dragons of Stormwick Island box. Now, here's what we know. Target has it, but not every Target has it. Like the Targets here at wherever it is I live, don't have it. None of the 3 Targets have it. But it's on the website. Now, I've been told by a couple different people that if you go into Target, they might have it, but they don't have it on the shelf. Why? I don't know. It's not the first thing I would think of that somebody would shoplift. But I mean, from my experience working at Target, people shoplift some weird stuff. So they have it, but it's not on the shelf. You have to ask for it. Now, I was in Target yesterday because I was looking for it, and I didn't have it. They got a lot of other things that are as big or bigger than the Dungeons & Dragons of Stormwick Isle box. So I'm not sure why that one's been regulated to the back, other than, demon worshipping. But, when you have copies of Pandemic and Exploding Kittens on your shelf, why would anybody consider Dragons of Stormwick Isle any more problematic than Call of Cthulhu, Exploding Kittens, or Pandemic? Again, I don't know. Most Targets, it seems, that have got it, have it in the back, and only have like 2 to 6 copies. So, yeah, that is weird. Because one, there was no announcement that I'm aware of that Target was going to get it before anybody else, and that everybody else had to wait till October. That's just bizarre. 2, I have no idea why only some Targets got it and not others. Though I might have a guess. I have a guess. 3, why is it in the back and not on the shelf? Again, don't know. So here we go. Here's my conclusion to what might be going on. Now, Target is not the first place you think of when you think role-playing games, or even really board games, But, what Target does sell a lot of, like a ridiculous amount, it's Magic the Gathering cards and toys, like action figures. And who makes a lot of action figures? And who makes Magic the Gathering? Hasbro. Who makes Dungeons & Dragons? Hasbro. So now it starts to make sense, because we know how Hasbro treats other stores when it comes to Magic / D&D. So now quadruple that to Target, because Target sells a ridiculous amount of Magic cards. They sell them at price. They often sell them at below price. There is a long history of Target getting special limited edition magic sets that nobody else can get. So Target's relationship with Hasbro, especially in regards to magic, is like, well, when did I work at Target? 6, 7, 8 years ago? For 2 years. So yeah. And again, there's a lot of stuff that Target gets toy-wise that other stores don't. Same with, I mean, that's not unusual. There's toys that Amazon only gets that nobody else gets. There's toys that Walmart gets that nobody else gets. You know, there are certain big box retailers that people will deal with directly for limited edition stuff. Target sells a lot of action figures. Target sells a lot of pops. Target sells a lot of the other Hasbro property, especially magic. So I'm thinking what Hasbro said to Target, what the deal was with Hasbro and Target is, you've already established a long history of us giving you special shit and it's selling out quickly. You've already established a long history of making us a lot of money selling Magic the Gathering and action figures. And I'm sure during the pandemic, when we had that upswing of Dungeons and Dragons sales, you go to Target and you see D&D and it's, the pandemic, it's Critical Role, everybody, D&D sales jumped through the roof during the pandemic, so they probably sold an unusually high amount of D&D during the pandemic. They're probably not selling the same amount now, because now if people want D&D stuff, they're either going to get it from Amazon or they're going to walk into a comic book shop and see they have it. But the history is there, and the history of Hasbro and Target is there. So it's probably some kind of deal like, we'll give it to you first. We'll give you the special Magic. We'll continue to give you the special Target exclusive Magic the Gathering sets, but in return, you've got to order X amount of the end of summer block of the big money action figures, the big money Star Wars figures, the big money He-Man figures, and of course the Lightning Collection. The Lightning Collection is huge with collectors. There are limited edition Lightning Collection stuff you can only get at Target. Same with Amazon and same with Walmart. So if you are a hardcore figure collector, the Lightning Collection is one of the best figures you can get from Hasbro. If you're a hardcore Power Rangers fan, which a lot of collectors either are or are getting back into, the Lightning Collection is the premier Hasbro Power Rangers line. So the deal probably was, I'm spitballing here, carry X amount of our action figures, carry X amount of the lot of the Lightning Collection, carry X amount of regular Magic. We will continue to give you the special edition Magic, and we will give you the Dungeons and Dragons first, because you're making us a lot of money where it counts. And again, remember, when it comes to Hasbro's money, it's big money. I know there are certain people who would like you to think otherwise, but the truth of the matter is Dungeons and Dragons is not Hasbro's main money generator. Hasbro's worldwide main money generator is Magic the Gathering and the action figures. Hasbro owns 3 huge lines, 2 of which are still relevant. Transformers is still an amazingly relevant action figure line. It still sells. There's still high-end Transformers figures that if you just look at the stuff from Comic Book Con this week, and, there's high-priced stuff on display that looks like freaking artwork, $2,000, $500, that's all Hasbro. Same with the Power Ranger stuff. I mean, you look at the normal Power Ranger stuff and you're like, this is, but then you look at like the Lightning Collection, the deluxe brands, the high-end stuff. Again, there's a $4,000 Power Rangers Green Ranger Dragon Zord dagger made out of solid gold for $4,000. Limited edition. There's only 500 that exist in the entire world. It goes for about $4,000. You know who made that? Hasbro. So, yeah. In conclusion, now that I think about it, it makes sense that Target would have it first. Doesn't make a lot of sense, but it makes sense because of Magic and because of Power Rangers and because of Transformers. G.I. Joe is not a major moneymaker now here in the United States like it was, but G.I. Joe is still big, especially for modders and people who do like action figure still frame art. That's G.I. Joe still sells. Okay. So that's what's going on with Dragons of Stormwick Isle and why Target has it. So if you live someplace that has a Target, they may have it. They will not have it on the shelves. They will only have a very few copies, and we don't know when or if they're going to get a second run. So you got to go into Target. You got to ask if they have it. And if you don't have it, you can ask them to special order it. But probably this is a limited run. They're only going to get X amount. When those X amounts sell out, they're not going to get them anymore till October because, Hasbro's made its point. And as far as Hasbro is concerned, bottom line with the amount of money, they're going to look at the amount of money the high-end Power Ranger figures made and Magic the Gathering made, and then they'll look at how much money Dragons of Stormwick Isle made for them, and they'll be like, okay, maybe we'll let Target have another run in October. Now, we could go over the whole, are there more than one adventures hidden in it? Except, of course, there isn't. Table of contents are right up on the web. You can look at the table of contents. There is one adventure in Dragons of Stormwick Isle and some other bits and bobs. Are the individuals presented in the cover the characters from the 1980s Dungeons and Dragons cartoon? There's only 2 pieces of artwork in the entire book that displays these characters. These characters only look vaguely, within as much as they could make them look like without actually making them the kids from the show. So they're older. The clothing is different. The facial expressions are different. The gear is different. The coloring is different. One of them is completely different than the way they were portrayed in the show. Two of them are missing. 2 of the individuals from the show are missing. There are no stats whatsoever anywhere in the book or is there any mention anywhere in the books that these are the same individuals that were in the 1980s cartoon. So, because why? Because Hasbro doesn't own the rights to those characters. Disney does. So, look, in your personal narrative, if you want to say they're the kids from the show, fine. If you want to keep arguing, oh yeah, there's no way there's the kid from the shows, fine. But as far as the official line is, no, they're not. And let's face it, this is Hasbro. If they were actually the kids from the 1980s Dungeons and Dragons TV show, Hasbro would let you know because they'd want to milk that. So, yeah, no. Yep. I guess Steve is done with us for the day. Everybody say goodbye, Steve. All right, that's it for what's going on with Dragons of Stormwick Isle. 1, it's at Target. It's limited edition. Maybe you'll find it, maybe you won't. 2, there's only 1 adventure in it. 3, still not the kids from the show. I'll talk to you later.